really none of your business. It's none of my business.
Hello, Fáilte, bonsoir, and welcome to the Motivated Classroom Day 7. And today's episode is episode 69 with Jade Pearce. So this one was all about being evidence-informed and using evidence-informed practice. It was really like setting the scene of the importance of engaging with professional development, with research, with looking at the best ways that are most effective according to the research that's been done, and what are often called the best bets. You know, obviously all pedagogy and teaching and learning is very context specific, but there are certain things that are best bets that we kind of know from the cognitive science or from the, psychological science that are more likely to result in positive learning outcomes. And I had a great chat with Jade Pearce. So please do check that out. It's episode 69. I really liked what she said near the beginning when she's talking about being evidence informed. And she says, it's super tempting to just try and improve everything all at once. But actually, it's much more important to just focus on specific things. And she made a great point about, don't just follow a fad and do something because everyone on Twitter is doing it, or don't just do this thing because you heard it's great, but actually look at what's right for your school. Like, what are the problems in your school? What do we need to improve on? And let those feed through to your priority areas. So in your school, it could be that the issue is with memory and retrieval of information. And in another school, it could be on participation ratio and how many students get involved, their engagement. And another school, it could be just classroom management and actually students putting their hands up for questions and not speaking over one another. So there are certain things that can really lead to a priority point for you. And I think that was a really good point that Jade made. The second thing we talked about a bit was competence in relation to motivation. And we talked about how becoming evidence informed raises your own competence as a teacher, which of course feeds through to your students then. And she talked about things like, it's really crucial. Being evidence informed in your school helps you in a couple of ways to feel more confident. It gives you better subject area knowledge. It makes your pupils learn more, which makes you feel better about it. And you just have more confidence knowing a bit more about this thing going into your class, and you can make those decisions much quicker. And I think I definitely agree with that. It's one thing reading and listening and learning about things, and the other is putting it into practice and actually trying these things out. And the more we engage with evidence and research, the more we're likely to kind of try something out. And then if we see it has impact, it may stay. And one of the last things I really liked from Jade was I asked her about, is there any kind of zero prep wins we can do with evidence-informed practice? And of course, that's pretty difficult because with becoming evidence-informed, the key is in the name. You got to inform yourself, and you got to, attend workshops, or, work with an instructional coach, or you got to make sure that you're listening to podcasts. But I think she made the really great point of like retrieval practice and spaced retrieval practice is pretty solid research evidence base behind the power of revisiting material in a kind of not random, but in an interleaved, spaced way. And she gave the great example of just walking in tomorrow morning and just saying, I want you to write 3 things down that we did from the unit at the beginning of the year. What were these 3 things we did? And what were these concepts? Or tell me a little bit about that story from the beginning of the year. And just that kind of like jarring of your memory of like, oh gosh, what was that? And making yourself think about it, or recollecting words that were related to certain stories or activities you did, then that actually is really beneficial for long-term memory and for improving your acquisition. So yeah, I thought that was really nice as well, just the power of retrieval practice, which teachers have been doing for a long time, but not to forget that it's great to interleave it and space it out so that we don't just ask about what happened in the last class, but actually we can go back 2-3 units ago and pick out little words and see how many can we remember and how can we use these. So that's a great thing to do. So that's episode 69 with Jade Pearce for the August Spotlight, Day 7.